The Democrats are now moving to pack the court. We told you that they wanted to pack the court. They told you that they didn't. And having told you that they didn't, they're now proceeding to do what we told you they were going to do. And with Biden, his approach appears to be a little bit more genteel, a little bit more procedural. I'm going to set up a commission and it's going to study the matter. I'll stack the commission with left-wing academics. They'll come out with recommendations, and then we will sort of try to endorse those recommendations as if we're merely doing what the commission said, even though it's our commission and we told it what to say in advance. So this is the Biden approach. It's at least cloaked with disguise. And it would take time for it to unfold. There would be arguments over what the commission came up with and so on. So, you have this, you have these left-wingers in the Congress, and these are people like Ed Markey of Massachusetts, the rotund, virtually immovable Jerry Nadler, Representative Hank Johnson of Georgia, Representative Jones of New York. So these guys have come together and they go, listen, what's the point of a commission? If we have a commission, they're going to take 8 months and they're going to do a lot of intellectual tubening, and they're going to come up with kind of where we want to start out with right now. Why go through all that? Why don't we remove the disguise, take off the veil, and just stack the court? We have the power, we think, to do it. At least we have a chance to do it. So why don't we just go for it? And the transparency, the sheer brazen, this is not even cloaked in any way. It's not about, well, maybe we should add, 11 new justices and perhaps there'll be some for me. None of that. The basic idea is this. Let's add 4 new justices. Why 4? Well, I don't know if you're a math major. I'm not, but I'm actually good at math. And here's the simple thing. The court is a 6-3 majority. So now start adding 4 to the 3 side. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7! 7, 6. Suddenly the Democrats have a majority. So they're adding just enough justices, at least in this Nadler scheme, to take away the constitutional Republican majority on the court and make it a Democratic majority. That way the Democrats now control all the branches of government, and the court essentially becomes a kind of license or rubber stamp for what the Democrats are doing. We become, in effect, a one-party state. Now, in theory, we'd have one more obstacle that would be protecting our rights, the Constitution itself. But let's remember, the Democrats know, and they have a lot of wink-wink of this among each other, that what's a Constitution among friends? In other words, the Constitution has to be interpreted. Who's going to interpret it? The court. The court can kind of make the Constitution say whatever they want it to say. So under the disguise of interpretation, you can actually disregard the Constitution. You can even take flat statements of the Constitution and say that they don't mean what they mean. Biden himself said something to that effect recently. He says, look, read the Second Amendment, Congress shall make no law infringing the right to bear arms. And he goes, it's not absolute, which basically means we get to carve out whatever exceptions to that we feel like. And so the Constitution then becomes disposable. So I'll have a lot more to say about this in the days and weeks ahead. I want to dive deep into the architecture of the American founding and why the court was set up the way it did. But the simple bottom line of it is we have the Democrats now dropping all pretenses of respecting checks and balances, respecting the idea of an independent judiciary, respecting the idea of the court as a check on the Democratic majority. Let's remember that much of the Constitution is a check on the majority. I believe it was Justice Story who said the Constitution exists and the court exists to stop the people themselves. In other words, to stop the majority, to stop the people's will as channeled through the majority. The court is an intentional break on that. Why? Because majorities of people can act just like aristocracies or like monarchies and run roughshod over the rule of law. The court has to protect, you may say, the minority from the majority. And these functions of the court are at least in jeopardy to the degree that one major party now no longer really believes in them.